What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Yesterday, I was watching a video, and I saw the host talking about when street dudes get involved in the internet. And I said, you know what? That's a great topic. It's a great idea. And so today, that's what I wanted to talk about. Out here in California, I can't speak for any other place. I don't know anything about any other places, right? I just know California. Everyone here already knows, and for those that don't know, that aren't from here, California, when you're talking about the streets, criminal world, prison, it's very, very political. Some groups are more political than others, but everybody has politics. And the question was great. When you get involved in the internet, when you choose to be a content creator, when you choose to be an influencer, whatever you call yourself, right? Should gang politics, street politics, prison politics dictate your program? If you're really trying, it's like when people have become rappers or movie stars and stuff, and then we see them go back to their hood, and then something happens to them, or they get caught up, and we all say the same thing. What an idiot, man! That dude had it all. He was on his way. Couldn't let it go. Couldn't grow up. And that same thought is going to be applied to dudes that are on the come up on social media. Why is it that it seems like on the internet, it's twofold, man. On the internet, you'll see the comment section is full of the highest powered politicians, right? Dudes, for the most part, that have never been anywhere. They weren't about that life in the streets, definitely weren't about that life in prison. And they're the ones that leave the most comments, spread the most hate. Can't stand certain YouTubers, myself, one of the main ones. They can't stand me. I find it very strange, right? And for those of us that are trying to be content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call it, I think some of us are smart enough to realize that when content creators present themselves as being about that life or having ties to some high-powered stuff, when they do that, it affects how YouTube pushes us. It affects sponsors wanting to deal with us. And it's bad for business. It's not really necessarily the comments. It's the people that want to be beefing online. Not realizing, hey, if you just keep it to content and see who can run the numbers up, then advertisers are going to be forced to mess with you. Nah, it's guys, for the most part, like I said, they've been on the streets their whole lives, didn't go to jail, didn't participate, or they did something and did a little bit of time and didn't do anything while they were behind the walls, and then they get out here and then they thirst for clout. And that thirst overwhelms everything that they're doing. It kills their creativity because all they do is talk about another man. And then you have the other side. Like I said, it's a double-edged sword. It's a two-way street, right? We're seeing more and more indictments, My understanding, they rounded up some people today in California, very south, Imperial Valley in San Diego. It was on the news, right? And when I heard about it, the first thing I thought, how much of this has to do with social media and cell phones? People are way, way, way too loose on social media and cell phones. I remember, what was it? Maybe about a year ago, I made a video. And in the video, I talked about how easy it is for the cops to just tap your phone if you have a cell phone. And there was a probation officer. It made him so mad that I said that he started trolling me and hate. It is what it is. I don't know. Maybe he still is. I don't know. I don't watch his stuff. But it was funny because, of course, someone in law enforcement would say I'm lying. But those of us that were bad guys that were in prison, we've seen the paperwork. We've seen people getting caught up because of their cell phone. In order to tap a cell phone, you only need the phone number. It's not the old days. It's not the old days where they were we were using landlines and they had to go in the house and they had to tap it that way, or they had to tap the wires outside the house. No, they just need the phone number. Once they have the phone number, they can get every single text and listen to every single phone call. Simple. And I don't know if everybody knows that, even everybody in the criminal world. I know there's a lot of people that know. I know when I was in there, we knew. I remember, and I think I told the story. One of my ex-cellies flipped out. Before he flipped out, he started his little brother had been killed. And he was struggling with it. He wanted to hurt somebody from the neighborhood that did that to his brother. And I said, these vatos have nothing to do with it. The ones on the yard, he's like, I don't give a fuck. I said, you can't tell me shit like that. And I really liked the dude. He was somebody that I liked and respected. And I knew if he remained in the cell with me, it was gonna be all bad. So I moved him next door, and then he flipped out, did some meth and flipped out. He wound up locking it up. He did some bullshit, fired on his cellie right at count time so the cops would see him, and then he disappeared. And the day after he left, someone called my cell phone talking about, hey, I'm so and so's cousin. What happened to him? Come on. How would my ex Sally have been able to call his primo? I mean, this was, I didn't even want to say it wasn't even the next day. It was, he did that punk shit at like the three in the morning count or whatever the hell. I don't know what number, but it was early in the morning, right? And I get the phone call at like 9 in the morning on my cell phone. It went to voicemail. I listened to it. And I knew from that point on, my phone's burnt. That's a cop. That's somebody from the ISU pretending to be somebody else. And that was in 2004. Imagine what they do now. Everybody has cell phones. I remember being in there and having a conversation with somebody when they were talking about letting everybody out of the shoe. I said, watch what's going to happen. They're going to have Judas all of a sudden willing to sell cell phones, acting like it's all undercover. And those cell phones are probably all going to be tapped. Gold mine. It was a gold mine for the fucking cops. Anyways, at this point, I'm just rambling. But I was intrigued by the question. And the guy, the channel was Compton Rick Rock once again. And as long as politics play a part in entertainment with dudes from California, California ain't gonna go nowhere. If you're coming out the hood, you're coming out the barrio, whatever it is, and you are advertising that you're connected to something and you're politicking, you ain't gonna go far, man. You're not. That's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.